Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a new kind of global power. It's not built with concrete and steel, but with data and silicon. We're living in the age of digital dams. And to really get what that means, we need to start with a real one.
Take a look at this number, 10 trillion gallons. That is the insane amount of water held back by just one structure, China's Three Gorges Dam. It's an absolute marvel of engineering, a thing so huge you can see its reservoir from space. It's the perfect symbol of physical power.
You see, the Three Gorges Dam shows a mastery over the physical world. But we all know that in the 21st century, the most valuable resource isn't water, it's data. And that leads to a really fascinating question. What if the most powerful dams on Earth aren't made of concrete at all?
So before we dive into the digital, let's just stick with this concrete giant for a second. It's important to understand the scale we're talking about.
I mean, this thing is a titan. It's the world's largest hydroelectric project, pumping out a staggering 22,500 megawatts of power. That's enough to power huge industries and irrigate millions of acres of farmland. But it's more than just a power plant. For China, this dam is a massive symbol of national pride, of engineering might, proof of their unparalleled ability to manage the physical world.
But here's the twist. While China was busy perfecting the art of the concrete dam, a whole new kind of dam, a much less visible one, was starting to rise. And this shift, well, it completely flips the script on who holds the real power. The analogy here is so clean, it's almost perfect, right? In the physical world, you have concrete dams that control the flow of water. In the digital world, you have data centers that control the flow of data. These data centers, they are the new dams.
And this is where the whole story gets turned on its head. Because while China is the undisputed champion of building massive physical dams, in the world of these new digital dams, the United States has a massive, almost unbeatable advantage.
So you have to ask, who owns these new dams? You'd probably think it's governments, right? Nope. The owners are a handful of American companies you know very well. Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta. They're the ones operating the infrastructure that controls the world's most valuable resource.
So how far can we really take this digital dam analogy? It turns out it's way more than just a catchy phrase. The components, the very logic of how they work, they map onto each other almost one-to-one.
Just look at this breakdown. The water in a real dam, that's our data. The giant concrete dam structure, that's the physical data center. The hydro turbine, the thing that actually generates the power, in the digital world, that's an advanced AI chip. And the electricity that comes out at the end, that's artificial intelligence itself.
Even the way you build them follows the same logic. A physical dam needs a stable location and tons of steel. A digital dam needs a cool location with a constant supply of power. A physical dam needs floodgates to prevent a catastrophic flood. A digital one needs cybersecurity to prevent data leaks, which, let's be honest, can be just as destructive.
Okay, so once you understand this analogy, the current geopolitical race for tech dominance, especially between the US and China, starts to make a whole lot more sense.
This quote it absolutely nails China's strategic problem. With over 1 billion people online, the country is generating a literal ocean of data. But having all that water doesn't do you any good if you don't have the dam to actually harness its power.
And you can see that imbalance right here. Look at that first bar. China's raw data volume is enormous, but then look at the infrastructure needed to process it. The US is way out in front, while China's capacity is much, much lower. They've got the resource, but they don't have the best tools to refine it. And that all comes down to one single critical piece of the puzzle.
And that piece is the ultimate choke point, advanced AI chips. These are the most critical construction material for building a modern digital dam. And through sanctions, the US has effectively blocked China from getting its hands on the really powerful ones, like NVIDIA's top-of-the-line H100 chip.
So, to bring it right back to our analogy, these chips are the turbines. Without them, China's vast ocean of data just sits there. It can't be efficiently turned into the electricity of modern artificial intelligence. This single component is the bottleneck holding them back in the global AI race.
But here's the final twist. This story isn't just about the US versus China, because the most powerful players in this new game, they might not be governments at all. We're so used to thinking about power in terms of countries, of governments, and armies. But that's not the whole picture anymore. Not even close.
Instead, the real ultimate power is shifting. It's moving to the people and the companies that actually own and operate these new digital dams.
And who are they? Google, Microsoft, Amazon. A handful of American tech giants now have direct control over the global flow of information, the digital services our entire modern world runs on.
This quote really puts the reality of the situation in stark terms. The control is that direct.
Just like a dam operator can physically turn a valve and stop the flow of water, these companies can, theoretically, turn a digital valve and stop the flow of data.
So what does that control actually look like in the real world? Well, it could mean you wake up one morning and a service like ChatGPT is just gone, unavailable. It could mean an entire platform gets shut down. Or it could be something much bigger, like cutting off a country's digital breath, making a vital technology just disappear from the face of the earth, not by an act of war, but by a corporate decision.
So that leaves us with a pretty sobering thought, doesn't it? The future of global conflict might not be decided with missiles and tanks, but by the simple act of turning a digital valve. Power has shifted from controlling land to controlling the flow of information. And as we all become more and more dependent on these digital dams, you really have to ask, are we ready for a world where that kind of power rests in so few hands?